Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for joining me on another episode of the MBT movement. Really excited to bring this episode to you. I have a special guest within this episode. She is a nurse practitioner and anesthesiologist. Her name is Missy Mims Kirkman, and she works in the advanced practice as a registered nurse, a dual certified doctorate prepared nurse anesthetist or anesthesiologist, and family nurse practitioner with more than 30 years of combined clinical experience. After 3 decades in traditional allopathic medicine, she experienced a profound awakening during the COVID era that shifted her professional path into a fusion of science based medicine, holistic healing, plant medicine, plant based therapeutics, energy work, and mindset transformation. She's a founder of her company, Supernatural Freedom Health, a cash based integrative wellness practice based out of North Carolina, offering IV hydration therapy, hormone optimization, telemedicine urgent care, lifestyle transformation, and holistic coaching rooted in universal law, clean living, and manifestation principles. Missy is also a 1099 contract worker working nationwide, a wellness educator, an essential oil coach, and a passionate advocate for functional mushrooms, grounding, somatic healing, and non toxic living. She blends evidence based practice with intuitive knowing, a rare combination, making her both clinically sharp and energetically aligned. With a background that spans hospital anesthesia, telemedicine, entrepreneurship, plant medicine, and spiritual awakening, her work centers around helping individuals unlock their natural potential, step out of traditional limitations, and create a life of health, prosperity, abundance, and inner freedom. This is where I really connected with her because a lot of what I practice here at Movement Based Therapy and what she integrates in her practice in North Carolina are such an alignment. For me, I specialize in injury rehabilitation, human performance optimization, and everything in between when it comes to movement integration. For her, she really specializes. She's an anesthesiologist, she's a nurse practitioner. In addition to this, she has a wealth of experience and knowledge that she's able to pull from both the anesthesia practice, but also what she's currently doing in her holistic based practice. And I found that, we're essentially two pieces to the same puzzle. And I'm really excited to bring this conversation to you all because it just highlights how collaboration can really be the sprouting seed to level up where we are in medicine in this day and age. And I think more than anything, all we really need to be, and I say it in the episode as well, is all we really need to be is advocates to ourselves so that we go in having the most information, being the best informed so that we can make the best choices for ourselves, if we have families, for our families, and not just that, as a collective consciousness. So really excited to bring this episode to you. Moving forward, this is going to be the MBT movement episode with my special guest, Missy Mims Kirkman. Thanks for joining. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the MBT movement. I am stoked to have you here, and I am stoked to have my guest, Missy Mims Kirkman, a savage nurse anesthesiologist. And we're going to go down the rabbit hole a little bit here. The topic for today, we're going to be talking about movement, hormones, and holistic healing in perimenopause. So buckle up. We're going to go right down this rabbit hole. Right meow. So what if the key to thriving through perimenopause isn't choosing between hormones or movement or natural therapies? It's not one or the other, right? But strategically combining all three. Today, I'm talking with a nurse practitioner, an anesthesiologist who spent over 30 years in traditional telemedicine before her own awakening led to her integrative, science-based hormone optimization with essential oils, grounding practice, and movement therapy. This is the conversation I wish more women could hear. So why does this matter? We'll start off here. Perimenopause can begin in the early 40s, where many women don't recognize symptoms for years. Muscle mass declines by nearly 0.6% annually, starting in as early as the 50s and accelerating significantly after the 50s. Women lose between 1.5 to 2.5 bone mass annually in the decade following menopause, where things like hormone replacement therapy and exercise have been proven to show synergistic benefits beyond either alone, right? So either if you just do hormone replacement or if you just do exercise, synergistically combining them and finding the strategy that works for you has been shown to increase strength gains by 8.3% and improve power by 17.2%. Mind-body practices reduce cortisol and inflammatory markers, directly impacting hormonal balance, And essential oils and alternative medicines show moderate evidence for menopausal symptom relief, specifically clary sage, which has been shown to reduce cortisol over 36%. So we'll just start it off there. Missy, what are your thoughts on all this? What do you think? What's your input?
I think it's amazing. Speaking from a personal perspective, I'm going through this exact same thing, which is what inspired me to go into a deep dive and learn all about the body and how the body changes in the fourth and actually maybe even the third, fourth, and fifth decade. So it's something that I wasn't taught, but experiencing it inspired me to look further than what I had learned in the beginning. And that's where it all started. When you have a personal investment in something, it inspires you to research it, learn about it, own it, and then help your sisters. And that's why I'm here.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. Where did you first have like this initial awakening? Because you've been in practice for quite some time now. So through the whole rigors of it, finding your purpose, finding your why, and then finding this calling to what you're doing now. Like, what did that journey really look like for you?
So what really, I call it an awakening, woke me up during the COVID era.
Yeah.
And I was in the front lines practicing as a nurse anesthesiologist in the clinical area. So I was in the front lines watching all that happen, and the veil was ripped out from over my eyes, and I saw a lot of things that I really didn't pay attention to until this era in our lives came upon us. And I searched my soul to find my purpose. I felt like we were all scared, and I questioned why I was even here. A lot of us did. A lot of nurses, doctors, professionals in the medical era left the profession because of this. I haven't left the profession, but I am using what I learned during all my clinical experience education to do something that makes a difference. I make a difference in the job that I was doing, but now because I have a vested interest in myself and I see where there are deficiencies in education about menopause, I feel like I can make a difference in that regard because I'm experiencing it firsthand.
Yeah, that was definitely like a super chaotic time. I remember during that time I was working a job as like a COVID tester, and I was just like, what the hell is going on? This is a wild time to be alive, and still is, it's like the hits keep coming.
Right.
And, like, what do you even make of that, right? So, like, when you were kind of going down that rabbit hole and starting to do more research and starting to look kind of like at what actually was happening, what were some realizations that you had? And like, when you were in practice, like your team alongside you, did the dynamic change in that sense as you became more woke?
Well, we all know that we have the most sophisticated medical system in the world, yet we have the sickest people in our country. And we know that we're not taught growing up in school, in our education, whether it's medical or any type of education, that prevention, lifestyle is key to longevity.
Yeah.
Instead of treating a symptom or treating a disease, how about we go to the root and look at what is going to help us in the long run regarding our diet, our mindset, your mental diet, what you're taking in. Are you nature? Nature is free, and we're not taught to take advantage of it. There's so many things outside of medicine that can help us, and I'm here to teach people that.
Yeah. What has been, I guess, the biggest attribute to your practice right now? Like what are you seeing in your practice, and where is the lowest hanging fruit in terms of creating those outcomes that you're looking for?
My focus is specifically on women in their perimenopause era. So it can start in the 30s, but mostly 40s, 50s. And these women have been functioning normal, so to speak. And then all of a sudden they're having all these symptoms and they don't know why. And then they're told, depending on who you go talk to, this is just something you're going to have to deal with. This is part of life. This is part of the aging process, and you're going to have to deal with it. Instead of giving these women tools in order to sustain their viability, sustain their function until the end of their journey. And that's my goal. I want these ladies that I'm blessed to be taking care of to be able to do what they're doing 30 years from now.
Yeah. With that sort of answer from like a practitioner, I know, I mean, I know that the Western medicine model can be extremely frustrating, you know, especially as you become more informed as a patient and as you begin to advocate for yourself. And I think that's the hardest part, that a lot of people kind of hit that wall, is they put so much trust into their provider, and then for the provider to just give them like such a generic answer to say, well, that's just the way it is. Do you think it's truly just them? Do you think it's the MD or whoever, the specialist, being lazy in their practice? Do you think it's truly what they know? Are they being genuine when they say that's just the way it is? Or do you think that there's more to the veil?
Well, a lot of people may not know about the Women's Health Initiative, which came out, and a lot of the data that came out and a lot of the media coverage from that study pretty much scared everyone, practitioners, women in general, with information that was not necessarily true. And a lot of you all, meaning women, may have heard that the FDA has removed the black box warning on hormone replacement therapy. So that just opens a whole new opportunity to help women get their power back. Meaning, if you would like to partake in bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, there's options for you. There's also options for supplements that can actually help with your hormones. Also, education, knowing how hormones work. There's a building block for hormones, it's cholesterol. All the hormones are made from cholesterol. Say, for instance, you're stressed and your body is stealing all of the components to make cortisol, which handles stress, and the rest of the hormones suffer. That type of knowledge is powerful. The most important thing you can do, and it's not even a medicine, is sleep. Get adequate sleep. Put your electronics down. People don't know that you need to put your electronics down. Suggested 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed in order for your body to start shutting down. That's huge. Keeping your electronics outside of your bedroom while you sleep. People don't understand all of the equipment and technology runs on a frequency.
Yeah, EMF frequencies.
And you know, people don't believe in certain things, but you believe in Wi-Fi.
That's something that's
a
tangible.
frequency. That's
what it is. Like,
frequency,
it's like, I can see it. I can get on my Wi-Fi. Oh, my Instagram works now. Oh, it's just,
so
no, I
just
get
being aware of your sleep habits. Your sleep habits should be, I call it bulletproof. You should have that is your sacred space. People don't understand. People don't know if you have plants in your room. If you listen to relaxing music. There are so many things you can do to help with sleep, and that's part of what I'm trying to teach people. Is it's not only, and hormone replacement therapy is one small piece of the puzzle. It's, and like I said, nature, you can go outside, take your shoes off, ground on the earth, connect with the sun, those properties that will help with stress. And we weren't taught that. And you can Google, Chat GPT, whatever platform you want to use to look up all this stuff. It's there right under your nose, right at your fingertips. But we're so programmed. I call it programming. We've been programmed since day one on certain things, and most people can't think outside of the box because of the programming. So if you could think outside the box, take a look around you, see what is available that can help you, it's there. You just need guidance. And that's where I come in.
Why do you think there's such a suppression in this information?
I don't want to go down a road that puts one group against another, but I'm going to tell you that there's a lot of influence regarding certain industries that have control, and they want us to stay in control. Think of it this way. If individuals don't need prescriptions, there's not money to be made. So it's about money. I'm just going to say that. But there are alternatives for everything. Your health, we talk about outside of the medical model. I was trained in the medical model, but then now I'm learning about plants. Plants are medicine. Before the pharmaceutical industry ever came in to the picture, it was plants, it was nature, it was your grandmother's recipe book on all these salves and things that came from her garden that helped with whatever ailment ails you.
Yeah.
That was prior to the pharmaceutical industry. And take essential oils. There are certain essential oils, say the plant lavender. I learned this. I'm a certified essential oil coach. Lavender is the origin of a drug that a lot of people use. Can you guess what it is?
I mean, it wouldn't be like Robitussin. It wouldn't be like
You take it
lavender.
for allergies. You
Oh,
take
it's like
it
an
for allergies.
antihistamine. So like would it be Benadryl?
Benadryl.
That Benadryl. Okay.
Benadryl.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the pharmaceutical industry cannot patent lavender. So the pharmaceutical industry knows how to change the chemical structure and market it and sell it. Benadryl.
The synthetic version that they can monetize on is what it is. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm a firm believer, and I'll say this, I'm a firm believer that there is a place in modern medicine, but I'm also a firm believer that there's a place for alternative medicine as well, and they can coexist.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that's why I'm here.
Yeah. That's the whole holistic based approach, right? Is you take a little bit of, I mean, that's kind of exponentially, that's what life is you take a little bits and pieces of your life experience and you make your own version, and that becomes your style of who you are. In the same sort of way, we can do that in every capacity of our life, professional development, relationships, and even how we care for ourselves, care for our bodies, is using that approach of, a functional based approach, right? This word functional is such a trendy word. You see people talking about functional fitness, like doing crazy kettlebell things or things with cable machines. I'm like, at the end of the day, function is relative and is dictated upon your lifestyle choices and what you have going on. Like, what are your needs? What is your minimum base of whatever you do in your lifestyle? That's what your activity should be based on. It doesn't necessarily have to be a crazy like Indian club windmill or whatever the case might be. It can just be something super simple as like holding an 8-point plank to ensure that you have proper diaphragmatic activation, trunk stabilization, and rigidity. And you know a proper stabilization strategy through your core. But I want to rewind it back real quick. You kind of started to talking about the Women's Health Initiative, and I know our episode here is specifically about movement, medicine, and around perimenopause. So I got a little highlight synopsis here off of it. The Women's Health Initiative was a landmark of set of clinical trials and observational studies launched by the National Institute of Health in 1991. Over 160 postmenopausal women between the ages of 50 to 79 went through hormone therapy. Right? The estrogen progesterone trial was stopped early after findings increased risk of breast cancer, heart disease, stroke, and blood clots, which dramatically changed hormone replacement therapy or HRT prescribing practices. What's your 2 cents on that?
My 2 cents is the hormones they were using were not human hormones. They were hormones from synthetic. They were synthetic hormones. Premarin, pregnant mare urine. Okay, so the hormones we use today are not the hormones that were used in that study. There's the difference.
So they then conducted in 2004 an estrogen-only trial and stopped early due to risk of increased stroke, though it showed no increased risk of breast cancer in women without a uterus. Prior to the Women's Health Initiative, hormone therapy was widely believed to protect heart health based on observational studies, where low-fat diets had no significant reduction in breast cancer or heart disease. Things like calcium, vitamin D supplementation, in modest dosage, had benefits on bone, possible kidney stone risks. Follow-up studies continued, and more nuanced interpretations have emerged, particularly around timing. The timing hypothesis suggests HRT may be safer when started closer to menopause.
Yeah, the studies are saying it within 10 years. So most of the studies participants in the Women's Health Initiative were 60. They were almost like 10 years after. So it has been shown if you start early, you're gonna hit the deficiencies head on and better outcomes in the long run. I will tell you, even maybe I really in my fees. I'm
Yeah.
54.
Mhm.
When I started having the hot flashes, all of my colleagues that I was around says, you can't take estrogen, it causes blood clots. And I just trusted what I was taught according to the Women's Health Initiative. But
Yeah.
I stumbled on a couple practitioners that are widely known in the social media realm. One is Mary Claire Haver. She's a certified OBGYN. She's written a book that I'm reading. I actually have her book here. It's called The New Menopause, Mary Claire
Oh.
Haver. So I'm reading that one. And then Dr. Vonda Wright is another, she's an orthopedic surgeon, and
Mhm.
she just came out with this book called Unbreakable. I'm
Mm.
reading that one as well. And then the book that changed hormone replacement therapy, it's called Estrogen Matters. And I highly recommend this book. If you read about it, it will dismantle everything about the Women's Health Initiative that was suggested in that study. Be happy to, but that's what I'm doing. I am grabbing everything that I can, taking classes, learning about hormone replacement therapy so I can help my community, my girls, my ladies, my women that
That's
are in my
powerful. No.
community take their power back.
That's powerful. Knowledge is power, and you're
Knowledge is
making the
power.
moves. That's what it is. That's
Yeah,
a really
it's
cool thing.
basically, I want for my community the same for me. I want to be able to function until I leave this earth. And that means being able to be independent, walk, pick up a couple bag of groceries at the grocery store, walk up and down a flight of stairs without tripping and falling and breaking my hip.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do all those things. And I've got the recipe, thankful to my colleagues in the medical community that are
Yeah.
very outspoken and have inspired me to help the individuals that I can help. Because it's going to take a team, it's going to take a community, a group, a legion of many in order to accomplish this, to give women their power back. Most of the studies in America are mostly about men, so women have suffered, and it's time for women to take their seat at the table.
Yeah. That's powerful. So for listeners who might be skeptical, what would you say to someone who thinks you have to choose between real medicine and holistic approaches, like the type of stuff you were doing?
I say, how about adopt the whatever works for you model? Trust your intuition, trust your inner knowing, do your due diligence, do your research. It's easy to do research. All you have to do is just, you have it at your fingertips. Look it up. Look up on all the socials, these providers that I have recommended. They make multiple posts a day educating the community about the importance of all the things: hormone replacement therapy, movement-based therapy, mindset, your mental diet, manifestation, what you're thinking about, the power that you have in your mind. If you can push away all the distractions that are just constantly coming at us, multiple avenues, multiple ways, and just maybe go back to basics. You know, whatever you believe, whether you believe in, I'm a proponent of whatever, I support whatever you believe. If you believe in a higher power, if you believe in God, whatever your belief is, that higher power has created everything, and it's at our fingertips. There is so much resource in our world, in our environment. If we could just tap into that knowledge, and it's possible. All you have to do is use your fingertips and, do some research. It's out there, but you have to have an open mind. Like, this podcast isn't for everyone, but the ones that the podcasts are meant to be for, they're going to come. Yep.
What would be a starting point for someone who's just who's interested in learning more about this stuff? Like maybe someone who's just who's so ingrained in the Western medicine model, and they start to become more open-minded to these sort of concepts. Where would you say would be a good starting point for them?
Grab some books. You could go on a couple options. My website for Natural Freedom Health has some information on there. You could reach out to me or to you, or we could, how about this? Well, let's put some links in the description.
Yeah, we can put some links in the show notes for sure. I'll have your link, and then anything we talk about in here that would be helpful for listeners, I'm happy to add that in as well. So we can put that in there.
Yeah. And I think just keep an open mind.
Yeah.
And go from there.
With So with everything that you're doing, would you say that's like the end all be all? Like, oh, come to me and you're going to get everything you need and nothing more? Or would you say that there are other pieces to the puzzle that become the whole piece of the holistic model?
There's multiple pieces. And
Yeah.
it's, again, my slogan is whatever works for you. And it's
Yeah.
also, what are you ready for?
Mm.
If you are still in the belief that you need, your provider, I highly recommend that you go to your provider and you talk to your provider. If they don't give you the answers that you want, then I suggest you do your due diligence, do some research, and find someone that is aligned with your beliefs.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that are qualified to take care of individuals that are searching for alternatives. They're out there. You just kind of have to look. Now that we have social media, you can find a lot of things on social media. You can just, search. And
I'm sorry, keep going.
I believe whatever you're meant to find, you're going to find it if you look.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was about to say. I was like, yeah, social media, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like you can find the resources out there, but then again, there's like so much noise that it's like, what do you even choose to listen to? Like, what are you going to listen to? And I've talked to so many people like, dude, like this guy says it like that. And this person says it like that, this, that, and the other. What do I even follow?
Right. Yeah. It's hard to trust even, I don't want to put labels on things. You just kind of have to get out there. You need to compare not only the social media, you need to go to reputable websites, whether it's a company that you trust. Just look for, and I would look at multiple, usually the main point, the main concept, if you do your research, like just a search engine, it will come up if you look. And you need to, like I say, do your due diligence. Yeah. It's going to take a little bit. And actually, if you can, I'm sure there's some, maybe some support groups out there. And that's something I would like to, you talked about your school community. That would be a great place to look because there's so much information there. And like you said, for your school community, there's free content. But if you want to pay a subscription and go a deep dive in whatever you're interested in, that's an option.
And it's more or less just like a fee for service. It's like, hey, okay, like there's the free content, but if you want to go down the rabbit hole and you need some specialization, right? You can find someone who you want to work one-to-one with, right? And then figure out what that looks like for you. But at the end of the day, there are resources out there, is what you're saying, right?
Yes, there's resources out there. And also the mentality of what's covered by my insurance.
That's a mindset right there for sure.
Yes. And you got to think of it this way. If it's provided to you for free or bundled in a service, there's always a catch to it.
Someone's paying for it.
Somebody's paying for it and somebody's benefited for it, and it's not you.
Yeah, that's super
but
true.
People have to take control of their health, is my belief. Yeah. And sometimes you have to spend money to do that.
It's an investment.
For instance, it's an investment. My services are fee for service. I don't deal with insurance companies. So it just depends on what you're willing to spend. You could not eat, not have a coffee every day from Starbucks. What's that? $5 to $7, 7 times. That's $210 right there that you could spend on your health. But it's a choice.
Yeah, it is.
It's a choice.
And it's definitely a mindset because even in my private practice, I've come across, clients time and time again and say, hey, do you take insurance? And I say, no, I don't take insurance. And I like to explain why, because insurance is very much like a checkbox type model, right? Even working in collegiate athletics, I would have athletes that tear their ACL. Actually, for example, I had a high school athlete tore his ACL, PCL, meniscus, a holy trifecta on the knee. He was a high school guy, so quick bounce back. And he didn't want to go through traditional, he was going through traditional physical therapy because it was offered, but he was looking for that added service that was going to really like sharpen his blade because, when you're going through traditional insurance-based model, it's just a check the box type of thing. Do you have 120 degrees in knee flexion? Are you able to go weight bearing? Are you 90% symmetrical side to side? Like these are all okay, objective measures, sure, but do they actually measure function and performance based off of your goals or whatever you're trying to do? And that's like the biggest thing I try to help people understand is that, hey, I don't take insurance. And here's the reason why is because I actually want you to make progress and I know what your purpose is and why you're coming to see me. Here's how we're going to outline that for you. And here's how we're going to get there. Right. And of course, like I said, I don't take insurance. So here's what it is. Some people, they're just not able to afford it. And, unfortunately, that's the case. But even then, I try to just provide the information and say, hey, okay, like, here's what you're going to want to do. Try this out. Let's keep in touch. I don't know if it's just people feeling bad, feeling like they're taking advantage. I'm like, hey, you're not taking advantage of me. Like, let's just keep this conversation going. Like, you're a good person. Like, at the end of the day, I just want what's best for you. Like your model, what works best for you. It sounds intuitively like we're having this conversation for a reason. So I want to be able to foster and nurture that. And maybe someday down the road, we work together. Cool. But that's not my prerogative for this conversation, right? It's just for your health and well-being. People get so like guarded, off of like you just trying to be a good person. And I don't know if it's just the society we live in. It's interesting though, so just trying to provide that clarity and knowledge is more than anything a powerful thing that you can do as a provider and, what we do.
Yeah. Just like I give free consultations and it's a 30-minute and just tell you what my story is about and how I help women and how specifically me 2 months in or however long in, within days I was feeling better. I was feeling like my normal self, which I felt like was gone, but it's back. And it's going to take some... Go ahead.
From having these conversations, from engaging in this type of work?
More so just the hormone replacement therapy, the lifestyle changes, the dietary changes, focusing on wellness. Health is your birthright. That's number one. Health is your birthright. And what you focus on, that's all about your mindset. My father has a big influence on my practice. He's gone. His legacy lives with me forever. He told me, Missy, anything that happens to you, it's 10% of what happens to you and 90% of your attitude. So take that for whatever it's worth. And that's what inspires me.
I like that.
Yeah. So it's good stuff.
It is. Rewinding this conversation a little bit, we were talking about sleep earlier on, and I wanted to kind of give the listeners some insights in terms of like what could be things that they do in terms of just like really optimizing their sleep or even just creating a sleep routine. We talk about these routines, things that you can do. I call it routine, whether it's hygiene. For me, I let people know like, hey, you need to be moving around. Motion is lotion, right? And you need to have a movement. You need to have a movement hygiene, just like you brush your teeth and you shower every day, I hope, right? You need to have a couple movements that you're doing at least daily that just keep you even keel and balanced, right? So when it comes to sleep, like what would be some strategies that you have found beneficial for yourself, for clients you work with when it comes to sleep?
Again, talking about alternatives to just taking pills to sleep or whatever, chamomile tea, some type of relaxing. I have some type of relaxing tea. Chamomile's one of my favorites. I've got a blend. I don't know. It's got so many things in it, but chamomile is one of them. I think catnip might even be another one, but a warm tea before you go to bed that just kind of sets the tone. Sometimes I journal. Sometimes I read before I go to sleep. That's my thing is I read my books. And I turn
instead
the lights
of doom scroll on the phone, right? You're on you're reading a book. That's a lot more productive.
I think I told you I have a salt lamp in my room.
So what's the whole deal with those salt lamps?
So they're almost like, so the light comes through the salt and it exudes this type of energy is my understanding. And it is a natural EMF protector. You see all these gadgets that protect you from the Wi-Fi and that type of thing. So I fit, even if it's placebo, I'm going to take it, but I feel like I sleep better with it on and I turn it very dim. But
so you have to have it on. You can't just have the salt lamp in there. You could just have the salt lamp in your room. Okay.
Interesting. Just very low. I mean, you could certainly try it with no light on and see how it works. Just put one in your room and just... You could also look up, the benefits of having certain plants in your room, like a snake plant is a good one. Peace lily is a good one. Croton is a good one. Having plants, plants Outside, they filter the air, so you're getting that.
Yeah.
You can even
The
talk to your
there's so
plants.
yeah.
You talk to your
There's
plants.
that's what it is too. Is they're a life force is what it is,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
their life, just
Yeah.
like breath. We talked about how
Mm-hmm.
important your breath is. And
Yeah.
that's another thing that I do before I go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
And this is part of the whole holistic mindset type of belief system that I embody in
Yeah.
myself is I breathe, focus on my breathing, and I meditate before I go to bed. That's
Mm.
huge.
Yeah.
I have a journal beside my bed. I usually do that in the morning, but sometimes I will write down what I'm thankful for
Mm.
before I go to bed and just how the day went. If there's something that did not go well in my day, another practice that I try to initiate, and again, not every night, but I try to visualize. Visualization is huge. We weren't taught that, but you can visualize that situation coming, or the outcome coming the way that you wanted it to turn
Mm.
out, and visualize it. And then the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that feeling sets the tone for your sleep.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Just little
It's like an
things like
intention-based
that.
practice. Yeah.
Intention.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just,
I was on a call with a client earlier today, and that's exactly what she works in the mental health realm as well too. And I had a conversation with her, and she says, this is where my body is, and I don't know, I'm hitting this mental barrier and hurdle, and I just have this vision. I've had this vision for so long about, me. She was an older woman as well, and she was like, "Oh, for me, I want to be, I have this vision of me in my 70s, basking in the splashing water around, pain-free, just enjoying life." And then I asked her this follow-up question, and I was like, "When's the last time you had this vision?" She said, I don't know. I don't know when that last time. I'm like, "Here's your homework, okay? I want you to work on that vision. I want you to emanate that. I want you to exude that. I want you to really envision that as if that were truly your life and your desire, your innermost desires. I
right.
want you to really do that and really think about that. The next time we hop on a call, I better see a picture or something here, right?" But that was kind of the idea, right? It was getting her in that right frame of mind. And in doing that, now she's training more consistently because of it, because she has that purpose and basically that anchor to keep her motivated. And then it was also the self-talk piece, like words are powerful.
They
And
are
this whole time leading
powerful.
up to the conversation prior to her sharing this vision, there was a lot of like, I can't, or I'm not sure I'm able to, or I'm scared, very fear-based negative self-talk. And I said, "Hey, I need you to change your language," and I said exactly what I just said. I need you to change your language. I need you to stop this negative self-talk, and I need you to start talking more kinder to yourself, because that's a
Yeah.
big, that has a big weight on your subconscious and on how you project yourself to people,
It's funny.
And
I made a post today on my socials about that.
yeah,
You can put the link down below on the socials if
yeah,
you want to, but
for sure.
mirror work is powerful. You looking at yourself in the mirror, and affirmations in the mirror
Yes.
are so powerful. And gratitude, that's the highest
Yeah.
vibration. Look at yourself in the mirror when you get up in the morning and say, "I am so thankful for this day. I am grateful that I woke up. I'm grateful that today is going to be a great day. Everything always works out for me. I always get what I want. I'm always at the right place at the right time. I'm going to have a wonderful day. I'm going to be generous. I'm going to be thoughtful, and I'm just going to throw kindness around like confetti." And it's amazing when you start throwing kindness around like confetti, being generous, it comes back to you in ways that you
tenfold.
cannot even fathom.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. That's kind of what it is too. It's just being fully vulnerable to the condition and to what you're doing, right? With just the truest intention and genuinity. And I found, like, since starting this show, and since like being more active on the social media, and I truly enjoy it. I'm really trying to grow and foster my community. But ever since doing this, I've been having these like engagements with people and saying, "Well, Sheldon, I didn't even know you're into that sort of stuff. Like, this is really cool. I really enjoyed this." I'm like, "Dude, this is awesome. Thank you."
Yeah.
And it's just people just like giving you that encouragement. It's so inspiring. And it just like, it's like I've had this saying a while that I say, it's like the people need you is what it is, and it's not in a selfish sort of way. It's like you're contributing, and that's what it is.
People are looking for a light, a bright light a beacon of light, a beacon of hope in this
Yeah.
world that we live in. And we can either focus on the good or focus on the bad. I choose to
Yeah.
focus on the good. I'm
Absolutely.
looking for that light.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
Sheldon, you're the light. You're a light. I believe it. Reading all of your stuff and talking to you, you have a gift. You have a desire, a stance of service, and you're going to do great things. And I'm glad to be on this podcast with you
We're
today.
on this journey together. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Likewise for you, you know?
Yeah.
I looked into the lights, by the way, real quick. So the evidence actually shows that salt lamps produces minimal to no measurable negative ions, nowhere near the levels generated by commercial ionizers. You know, natural sources like waterfalls. The heat from a small bulb isn't sufficient to drive meaningful level of ionization from the salt crystal. But besides that, common claims have been that the lights, we're talking about salt lamps here for going to sleep and for keeping in your bedroom, right? Common claims are that they release negative ions that purify air and improve mood. They remove allergens, dust, and pollutants, and they improve sleep and reduce stress, as well as help with respiratory conditions. But what they truly do genuinely offer is they offer warm, ambient lighting that many find calming and aesthetically pleasing. Clearly so. You know, yellow light's a lot better than blue light for sure. And that's the other. We'll get back to that. We'll get to this in a sec. But the soft orange glow may support relaxation before bed, similar to any dim, warm tone light. Some people simply enjoy them as decor. So if you're considering them for a sleep-based practice or integrative into your own journey, you can tie this into other things that you're doing as well. Things like breath work, things like movement, and they can contribute a calming atmosphere. It's more or less just setting the ambience, the feng shui, right? But we know that blue light is going to be the thing that stimulates their circadian rhythm to stay up, right? So, and the cell phones just blast them out. Most modern phones nowadays, you can go into your settings and there's a blue light filter. So what I do is I turn mine on at 7 p.m. every day, and it just has an orange tinge on the screen. And that just helps, at least if you are screening, then you have the orange tinge on your phone, and it's not as stimulating to want to keep you up, right? But the other piece of it is content. You can look at an orange screen all day, but if there's content that's just getting you riled up and like, that's not helpful as well. So it's all about what you consume, right? In all aspects. Not just content, but even, like content of media and content of food in general. And everything.
Your mental diet. Yeah, your mental diet, your food, your diet, the foods that you partake of, the chemicals that you put on your body, whether they're cosmetics, your cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
There are just so many different chemicals. Your skin is the biggest organ in your body, and it absorbs everything that you touch. And a lot of people don't think about that. And your clothing, like this polyester stuff
material
is plastic, and your body is absorbing. I mean, my goal is to maybe get more cotton clothing, but that's for another podcast. But but there's just so many things you can do. But again, it's your attitude, it's your mindset. Your mind is the most powerful asset that you have. And my goal is to help people that have an ear to hear realize the power they have in their mind. Not only, the medical allopathic model, there's just so many other things that fit into this puzzle that I want to construct together with our community. Put this puzzle together.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a powerful puzzle. Powerful puzzle for sure.
Very powerful.
Yeah. You got time for one more piece here?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about now hormones, movement, and the body connection. Right. So within the research, perimenopause, right, is where estrogen fluctuates between mid 40s, and menopause actually hits about 12. Menopause is defined as having 12 months without menstruation. Estrogen decline affects muscle protein synthesis, tendon ligament integrity, bone density, and joint lubrication, joint synovial fluid, joint lubrication. Hormone replacement therapy timing window is anywhere between the ages of 45 to 58, within 10 years of menopause onset for best outcomes, most optimal outcomes. Or hormone replacement therapy and resistance training, specifically the quadriceps, which is a leaner tissue, can increase up to 6 to 7%, where greater anabolic markers with greater anabolic markers. Protein needs also increase, right? Because as we age, muscular atrophy becomes more of a thing. So it's hard to retain muscle. So the typical standard here they have said is anywhere between 1 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, right? So if someone's 100 kilograms of body weight, then they need to get roughly 100 to 120 grams of protein per day. But even recent research has indicated even higher levels in that, anywhere upwards of 1.5, depending on how active you are, anywhere upwards of nearly 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. And again, it depends on activity level. It depends on activity level, period. And the other piece here is there's no research indicating any bad outcomes of over-consuming protein. But we sure know what over-consuming carbs can lead to. Right? And we're in a carb-dominant society. Nearly every corner you turn to, carb, carb, carb. It's so hard. That's what I've found is it's in this society, it's so hard to find like quick and easy choices that are also healthy.
Right.
And I don't know if part of that is because the shelf life of something that is natural versus something that is processed, or if it's just I don't know. Yeah, what do you make of that?
Consumerism. Yeah. And you go to a restaurant and you want to eat healthy and they're using seed oils, putting breading on everything. And so I would love to do a podcast with you and talk about like protein sources. That would be another great
That'd be great.
To try to get 50 grams of protein in each meal, and that's hard. So I find that I'll do eggs, then I'll also do cottage cheese, fruit, and then I add your 2 tablespoons of flax seeds because that has the phytoestrogens in it. I do the serving of chia seed, that's fiber. Hemp seeds also have fiber and protein.
Yeah, like hemp seeds.
Whatever the serving, and then I put blueberries. Also, pumpkin seeds.
Yeah, pumpkin seeds are great. Really good.
Pistachios. And then, I ate a lot of, some people can't eat dairy, so you have to find what works for you, but protein. And you can't eliminate all carbs because you need a little bit. Low glycemic index options. So we could even talk about that on a podcast. What are some low glycemic index options?
A nutrition episode. That'd be pretty cool.
And just like, the artificial sweeteners, those are there's a lot of people that are addicted to their Diet Coke, these artificial sweeteners. And there's some type of what it does to your body when you digest something that's not natural. It makes you even want more carbs, that kind of thing. So
it's like filling an empty void.
But in order to rebuild muscle, most people in menopause, if they haven't started replacing, you're going to have to rebuild your muscle. Another thing we should talk about is like the creatine monohydrate. Are you big into that?
2 grams a day.
And
I double dose.
It's supposed to also, with women in menopause, help with cognitive function. These ladies that have brain fog.
That's a huge one.
Estrogen receptors are in every organ of the body. So when you're deficient, you're going to see it everywhere. Brain fog, muscle wasting, bone wasting.
There's such a negative connotation to like creatine. Is like, oh, if I take creatine, then I'm just going to bulk up. I'm like, no, that's not necessarily how it works. A lot of, and going back to what you were saying, a lot of the recent research, like I was listening to Dr. Rhonda Patrick and she was mentioning this as well. And she says that, hey, I take, on days where I'm going to be traveling a ton and I have a lot of work to do, I'm taking upwards of 2 grams per day, and it helps with things like brain fog, cognitive functioning, clarity. And not just that, there's so many benefits outside of just cognitive when it comes to creatine. But we can definitely talk about that. Let's have a nutrition episode. I think that would be really cool, where we can do like holistic nutrition, and we can just integrate both of our experiences. But coming back to this segment, I had a couple of questions off of the whole like hormones, movement, how we create this connection and holistic integration. Many of my clients don't realize their recovery issues like joint pain or declining strength might be hormonally driven. So what symptoms should women in their 40s be watching for?
Specifically for me, it was pain in my spine, just, around my neck, my lower back. I was noticing when I played a lot of pickleball and my ankles
Yeah.
were feeling
Like
sore.
unstable? Okay.
Yeah, sore even after a couple of days of recovery. I had
Yeah.
this, and I thought it was the new shoes that I had. And so just a generalized joint pain, even like
Yeah.
arthralgia,
Mm.
pain in the joint, that is estrogen.
Yeah.
Frozen shoulder is estrogen deficiency. Vonda
Oh,
Wright talks about that. She's an orthopedic surgeon. She talks
yeah.
about that. You have estrogen
Interesting.
receptors everywhere.
Wow. That same client I
It's
was just
all
talking
about
about
estrogen.
earlier. Yeah. Yeah. No, sorry. Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, all about estrogen,
Yeah.
among other
Wow.
things, but estrogen
So
plays a big role.
so it's an intuitive sense in how your body's feeling, and then it's also even more so having no specific mechanism to why this was happening. Like for your back pain and your ankle pain, you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing anything different. Like I'm training,
Yeah,
I'm active, I'm healthy. But all
yeah,
of a sudden, like insidious onset, like just a random
mm-hmm. Yeah,
know-how, like what the hell is going on?
yeah.
My back hurts
My
now.
back hurts.
Spinal.
Laying on a heating pad.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get home to lay on my heating pad and put my essential oils on my back and all the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's what drove me to look for an answer. And
Yeah.
the universe just showed it to me. It just
Yeah.
popped.
That's
And all
awesome.
of these providers started popping up on my feed and research, and I'm like, there's the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. You
There's the
found it.
answer.
It came to you.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I have a way to help people in multiple ways. I can write prescriptions. I can
Mm.
suggest a dietary prescription, mindset prescription,
Yeah.
all kinds of prescription coaching. Like I said, hormone
Yeah.
replacement therapy is one piece of a large puzzle
Mm.
that we have to work together to solve.
Yeah.
And there's a solve for this. There's definitely a solve for this.
Yeah. So moving on to the next question here. Research shows hormone replacement therapy combined with strength training creates a synergistic benefits. From your clinical experience and even like anecdotal experience, how do you see this play out, like with your clients and with yourself?
I'm going to give you an example. I have a client that is in her mid 50s. She
Yeah.
started on hormone replacement therapy probably a couple weeks before the Thanksgiving holiday. She texted me within days and says, "Oh my gosh, the pain is gone."
Wow.
Thanksgiving Day, she sent me a picture. She ran a 5K. She placed third in her age group.
She did the turkey trot? No way.
She did. And she
Wow.
says, "I couldn't have done it without your help." Yeah.
So what was her
That
experience leading up to this?
She was working out, but she was in pain. And she just reached out to me. It's actually an acquaintance on a social media platform and just said,
Yeah.
"Hey, I've lost hope.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. I'm willing to try this just to see if it works. And if it works, I'm on board." And we did all
Oh.
the things. We did the visit. I ordered all
Yeah.
of her labs. Labs came back. We came up with a plan. Not only, the prescription, the dietary prescription, all the things that I talk about, the journaling, the listing what you're grateful for, getting outside, taking your shoes off, grounding on the earth, connecting with the sun, all the things, connecting with
Yeah.
nature, all the things. And she said, I'm in.
Wow.
A couple days after she started, and then she texted me and said, "The pain is gone." She says, "I have hope again." That was profound. That made my year.
Absolutely. It's like
Made my
saving a
year.
life. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, that's what you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. And then I had another client that she's on her journey and been on some replacements for a week. And she says, I've had the best sleep that I've had. I've had the best sleep this week that I've had in a long time. She says, I've been sleeping through the night and I cannot tell you when the last time I slept through the night.
Wow.
I used to wake up at 3:00 a.m. and I'm not doing that anymore. That is huge to have uninterrupted sleep. That's when your body repairs itself is during sleep. So if you're not getting sleep, that's why your body doesn't feel its best, because it's not recharging. It's like if you left your phone unplugged overnight and then expect it to run normally all day long. It's not going to happen. Same thing with humans. We have to have our sleep. That is our repair mode.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah, it's
huge.
pro-inflammatory if you're not getting enough sleep. I mean, it has
Right.
so much downside to not
Mhm.
getting enough sleep. It's like an under the radar sort of treatment or an undermined value that people can easily
Mhm.
get. Again, it's like not it's not the society we live in, right? We have to work, we have to grind,
Mhm.
sleep when
Mhm.
you're dead, society, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
It's like we have to overcome that because that's not what it's about at all.
That's
It's totally
programming.
mistaken,
Yeah, that's
Yeah, for sure,
programming.
right?
Yep.
So for me, like I'm working with clients and my I specialize in injury rehab. I do the personal training, I do the life coaching, I do all that in between. For me, I'm a certified athletic trainer and I have to be very tactful because this may be something that's beyond my scope. What
Mhm.
would be an approach that I could integrate when I'm working with clients to say, hey, have you ever thought about, hormone replacement therapy? Maybe
Mhm.
that's just the way to do it. But
Yeah.
what would you advise for people, for
Uh,
practitioners who are interested in providing this type of service, but it's beyond their scope.
It's beyond their scope. Find someone that knows how to do it.
It's
And
collaboration.
there's, yeah, collaboration. There's plenty of people out there that are willing to work with people to help them become their best version of themselves. And
Yeah.
that's all I got to say because I've actually got a consult on a patient. She went to her provider. I don't know what kind of provider it was. And she was asking for the hormone replacement therapy. And they told her that they did not do that, that they
Mm,
would need to seek help outside of that practice. And could even ask, is there anyone you recommend in the community? But
right.
if you go online, there's tons of ways to find people in the
Yeah.
socials.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is the best advertising. So in your local community, you could get on some type of social platform. It's like, hey, is there anyone in our community that provides this service?
Yeah.
I'm happy to recommend people in my community if someone were to reach out.
Yeah.
I could put them in touch with someone in their state. My state is North Carolina,
Hmm.
but I am connected with people all over the country and could find someone if need be. But I would first look in your community. But sure, I'm happy to help connect whoever needs help
What
in their
should people be
community.
looking what should people be looking for when they're looking for a provider? Like, do they just Google hormone replacement therapy in my area or
Yeah, or BHRT, that is this acronym for bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. Another
oh,
word is hormone optimization.
okay.
So there are multiple providers. You can be treated by a medical doctor, an MD, a nurse practitioner, or a physician's assistant.
Oh wow.
The ones that have prescriptive authority is what you need.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's good to
And
know. That's good to know. Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So when it comes to hormones, like I know there's a lot of confusion about bioidentical versus
Mm-hmm.
synthetic hormones, compounded versus FDA approved. Can
Mm-hmm.
you just like cut through the noise for our
Yeah.
listeners? Like what does
Yeah.
that mean? Like what's the difference here?
Compound means it comes from a pharmacy that actually puts the chemicals together. They tend to be more expensive.
Yeah.
FDA approved is usually your retail pharmacies.
Hmm.
That's what I recommend because
That's
you
like
can
gold
use your,
standard.
yeah, you can, not the gold standard, but I want people to get the most bang for their buck.
Yeah.
And the retail pharmacies have the items that are FDA approved and they're produced in masses, so they tend to be more economical. There's
Okay.
also multiple ways to get discounts if you don't have insurance. I will say for me, I don't have really good insurance, so I pay out of pocket. But I
Yeah.
use an app called GoodRx. You can
Oh yeah.
download it onto your phone and it will give you the best price for generic in your community. And you
Okay.
just present it, either present the card or present the app after you sign up, and you automatically get that discount. You could get
That's pretty cool.
a
That's called
3 month supply of your estrogen if you decide to do patches for less than $100.
So that's definitely the way to go. There's no
Hmm.
affiliation with GoodRx in this podcast, by the way. We're just mentioning
Yeah,
it because it's awesome. So
yeah.
GoodRx is definitely a service that people can utilize.
Mhm.
I mean, is it just HRT or do they do like all types of medicines as well? Or
Yeah, if
wow.
I need any prescription, I use them. So that's something
Okay.
that for people, there's other apps out there. That's the one that I
Yeah.
use. And actually, I've compared and contrasted different ones from
Yeah.
different pharmacies over the years, and they're all pretty much the same. The discount is the same.
Okay. Okay.
And you can, your progesterone it's can also estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone if needed to be replaced. All of those can be from your local pharmacy using
Yeah.
your insurance or using a platform that provides discounted services for pharmaceuticals. We could say it like that instead
Yeah.
of bringing out the name, but
Right.
it's nationwide. I mean, I've used it for years.
Okay.
And you price it like they will give you a list, and I will tell you whatever the cheapest. I'm going to transfer my prescription over to that pharmacy because I want to get the best deal. And that's
Yeah.
okay too. Somebody could teach you how to do that. You just call the other pharmacy and say, hey, I'd like to have my prescription transferred here because the price is better.
Yeah.
That's all you
Okay.
do.
Interesting. Yeah. See, that's the other piece is people just need to learn how to advocate for themselves. That's the biggest piece in knowing how to navigate this. And I know it can be very overwhelming trying to navigate the Western medicine model, but I mean, the biggest piece is just going in as an informed, as someone who's informed so that you're making the best choice for yourself is what it is what it comes down to. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I had a couple more questions here that we'll cover and then we can wrap it up. But I had one more in regards to this topic here. What role does movement play in your treatment plans? And do you find that hormones work better with women who are also strength training to some capacity?
For sure.
Yeah.
I'll just use myself for an example. I have been athletic my whole life.
Yeah.
I've ran 21 miles a week. I'd run, a 5K, 5 to 7 times a week, always. And then, so when I started back on my hormone replacement therapy, and I'll tell you, it was not just like when the symptoms came, the process had already began. I'm in the process, my pain is gone, but now I'm in the process of rebuilding myself. And we'll have to talk about on another episode about the indicators of there's some tests that you can do, namely the sit to stand. I can't sit to stand right now, but I'm working on it, and I use YouTube to find the exercises I need to build up my quads. And yeah. So
well,
I believe, so if you got a sedentary person that's starting on hormone, that's going to be different than from somebody that's been athletic their whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, lifestyle factors, like external lifestyle factors pertaining to activity specifically.
Right.
Yeah.
And then my other take on that is we're going to meet you wherever you are. If you're sedentary and you're having pain and you would like to start this journey of the puzzle, hormone replacement, along with everything else, we're going to meet you where you are. We're going to give you a prescription. And that's where Sheldon and I are going to collaborate. We're going to work together with our clients. Sorry about the dog. With our clients, we're going to collaborate together and have a prescription on how to get your power back in regards to your movement-based therapy. Because
like a protocol.
It's shown, it's shown. Another part of my practice, I'm a nurse anesthesiologist, and I see patients, elderly patients that have broken a bone. We want to get our people in such a condition, or we don't want to get our patients conditioned to their normal so they don't have to deal with that. They have the strength to not fall when they're walking in their living room. They have the strength, and their bones are strong to when if they do suffer a fall, they're not going to break their bones. And that's part of estrogen.
Yeah. I think what you were just saying about me where you're at, that's the biggest part. And that kind of leads into the next question here is women who can't or choose not to do HRT, what movement and lifestyle strategies become even more critical, would you say?
Being able to navigate your life as you did prior to menopause, meaning being able to just quality of life, activities of daily living,
Yeah.
bathing, showering, going to the grocery store, driving. That takes
Yeah.
hand-eye coordination. All those things
Hmm.
suffer when you're in decline with lack of your hormones and the aging process.
Yeah.
And it's preventable,
Yeah.
but it's going to take a lot of work. And if you're willing to do the work, you're going to reap the benefits.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
No, go. Oh, no, I was saying that's going to be the key. I mean, essentially, the body is an adaptation machine, right? So it's gonna adapt to based on the stresses you put it through. So if all you're doing is being sedentary and not doing much, that's going to be your highest level you can attain, right? So you have to be consistently loading the body. I mean, I really don't think 3 days a week, 30 days, 3 days a week is the hardest thing to achieve and accomplish. But for some people who work a very hard, demanding job, if you're working 12, I mean, I've worked in various jobs where people work 12, 15 hours. I used to work in safety and ergonomics, and there was one site that I would go, and it was a 12-hour shift. And if they picked up overtime, they're working 16 hours, right? Like, when are they sleeping? A lot of these guys have families. They're trying to provide and do the best that they can for, with what they got. And it's a brutal schedule, super laborious type of job. And, they're in day in and day out. And what I would do is I was essentially I would do first aid OSHA consults. So if someone gets hurt on the job, they come into my clinic, I evaluate them. I say, hey, you got a strained shoulder. Here's what you want to do. Send them on their way. But if they're not managing their external life factors outside of work, i.e. getting good nutrition, making sure they're getting as much sleep as they can, figuring out some sort of rotating schedule so they can get some quality recovery, they just stay in a state of inflammation, and it's harder for them to recover from the injury is what I've found. So there's all those external factors that play into the puzzle that you have to understand. And with something like movement, it's a synergist to something like, reeling it back to our topic, something like hormone replacement therapy for women that are experiencing menopause, perimenopause, that sort of thing. So I think ultimately the key takeaways here from this episode are, you want to consider HRT within a 10-year deviation of when you're in the perimenopause phase, right?
Right. And make sure there are no contraindications, and that would be up to your provider to decide. We're not going to talk about all that today because it's a long list, but your provider knows if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. That is huge.
And you had mentioned specific providers that are able to provide these types of services. Could you cover these providers again real quick? Just a quick list?
Yes. MD, medical doctor,
okay,
nurse practitioner,
okay,
and physician assistant.
Okay.
Those are the ones that I'm aware of.
Those are three. So no RNs. RNs, definitely not. Maybe get an IV from them, but that's kind of the limit right there. I'm not getting HRT from an RN.
Right. They have to be an advanced practice RN with prescriptive authority.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has to be a provider that has prescriptive authority. That's what you need to check on. There are some providers out there that are certified in hormone replacement therapy. That's a great option. That does not necessarily have to be the end all be all, but they're out there.
Yeah.
You could go on there. I know Mary Claire Haver, she's a certified OBGYN. She's got a list of practitioners as well on her website.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, covering sleep, making sure you're taking care of your sleep hygiene, sleep quality, find things that work for you, minimize the blue light when you're going to sleep, right? Doing integrative practices like journaling, breath work, these sorts of things can help down-regulate the nervous system, get you into more parasympathetic state, which is that rest, digest, relaxation phase, right? And essentially do what works for you, right? That's the practice, right?
Practice.
That's what it is.
It is what it is. Yep.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, Missy, thank you so much for coming on this episode. We should definitely do this again. Would you be able to give a quick little highlight? Like, where can people find you? Where's your at?
I'm based out of North Carolina.
Okay.
However, I can coach in any state, but my website is supernaturalfreedomhealth.com.
All one word?
Yeah, supernaturalfreedomhealth.com. You can also follow me on the socials, and Sheldon can put that link down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll drop it in the show notes. Well, thanks again for listening, everyone. This is, again, another episode of the MPT movement. Looking forward to seeing you all in the next episode. Thanks again. Bye, everyone.
Bye.